a thing. We're recording our first podcast. Hello. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. And welcome to Top Class Tokyo, a weekly weeb podcast about Japan and whatever the fuck we want it to be. I am your host, English teacher by day, by night, podcaster extraordinaire. Today, joining me is the lovely Justine, broadcasting live.
Hello. Damn, I wish I had a cool intro. Fuck, I'm so unprepared.
All right, well, we can workshop it. So, Top Class Tokyo being the sort of idea is like, you know, it's a double entendre, right? Like, top class is like, you know, the best of the best, the cream of the crop, but also since I am a English teacher in Tokyo, I am sort of like this class leader sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking of one of our segments being report card, which is a I don't know, I guess if we're doing a weekly podcast, this is going to be a weekly report on whatever the fuck in Tokyo or, you know, Asian interest story or whatever.
Oh, so we can talk about like how Squid Game is like fire right now because everyone and their moms are like talking about it in California anyway.
I saw that on Netflix and I've been binge watching Netflix, but like I was in a totally different area, not Squid Game, but I read the like little summary for Squid Game.
Yeah.
And it really reminded me of Battle Royale.
Yeah. Same,
but Korean, basically.
Same.
So I'm like, what exactly is new about it? I haven't heard about
I just liked how it reminded me of like if rich people wanted to have bum fights and it was like kind of okay, this is how it would probably play out.
Okay, but it's students, right? I thought it was
No,
students
it's
on an
just
island.
poor folks. Oh wait, Battle Royale or Squid Game?
Well, both Squid Game and Battle Royale.
No,
I thought it was students.
Squid Game is a bunch of these people that made poor financial choices, so they owe a lot of money that they clearly can't repay back in their lifetime. So playing for sport.
So it's just random Koreans who
It's
just
a bunch
owe
of
money.
poor folks that they're pitting against each other for a giant piggy bank of cash.
So it's kind of more like Hunger Games then, in a way.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Wait, did they get money in Hunger Games? I just thought they got food and got to live longer or something.
Yeah, they got food
Resources to not die as badly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Modern version of Hunger Games. More relatable because people like money.
So like, how are the games set up for Squid Games?
It's like, I think there's like, it's a bunch of traditional children's Korean games that, like I only watched the first 2 episodes and the first game was like red light, green light.
Okay.
It's like multiplayer game, or the first one, it was multiplayer game, but I'm bad and read the spoilers on Wikipedia because I'm a bad person. But yeah, it's pretty much mini games, and the more people that die, the more money that gets added to the pot.
How is red light, green light, like life and death stakes though?
Oh,
like,
if you get
how do people die?
If you get caught moving, they shoot you.
Oh.
So yeah, it's like shooting fish in a barrel, pretty much.
All right. Okay. Interesting.
Okay, so report card is gonna be what's popping right now on the world of the youths. We are the youths.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know, but you only watched the first two episodes on Squid Game. Like, what grade would you give Squid Game?
Oh, okay. Okay, so I see what the grade thing works as.
Yeah, so report card.
I'm inclined to watch it again, so I feel, or continue watching it. Like, I would be open to binging the rest of this show. So I would say it's probably like, wait, what grading system are we doing? Are we doing
A through F?
Okay, I was like American
American high school. Yeah. I don't know what other grading system we would use.
Because I'm like, wait, do you know Japanese grading system? Because I don't know any of that shit.
Honestly, no, because like they don't really do report cards or grades the way that America does.
They just
them,
do
which is another
rankings,
interesting
right?
thing. Yeah, they do class rankings.
Yeah.
So I guess that's also like the way that you see in like YouTube. Like, well, you know how people make like tier lists?
Yeah.
You know? So like S tier, A tier, B, you know, all the way down to like A. That's kind of like a report card, right?
Yeah.
It goes A through F basically, with like above A would be like S tier, triple S, whatever. But I don't know. I kind of like using the American system.
Yeah, because I feel like if the audience is going to be more American, then that's more relatable than like, we're going to do it based on your school ranking. So weave this out real fucking hard, it'll be great.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it just keeps things simple. We have two American hosts. Majority probably American audience. I think it's just going to be easier for everyone if we just do American grade system.
The strat is we're gonna do it in the culture that we're getting monetized on, because exchange rate is better in America.
Great point.
we get paid in USD, not yen. Optimistically, anyway. But yeah, I think I would probably rate it as like a B. It's not like it's one of those things where I feel like I'm more inclined to binge watch a lot of things because I'm not very picky about what I watch. So I was like, yeah, well, I'll probably full send, especially if it's only like 9 episodes. Just to be like, I'm participating, I am the youth. So that'll probably be a reason why I do it.
There's only one season, 9 episodes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's very low commitment level. It's not like we're watching 100 fucking episodes.
Yeah, I was binge watching entirely different series this weekend. Sex Education.
Oh yeah, ooh yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I approve.
I literally watched the first episode and I was like, I knew my life was over for this weekend because I was like, God damn it, this is way too good to like.
Yo, that mom's hot though.
Gillian Anderson! It's fucking Gillian Anderson! I was like...
I don't know who that is, but she's hot.
Scully from X-Files? Oh
shit!
Oh my... Scully from X-Files!
Damn, she aged so good! Fuck.
She did. I was like, wow, Silver Fox. I want to be her when I grow up. Yeah.
But apparently you can...
That was such a nice touch with like all the alien themed, you know, shit happening. It was like fucking Scully was the mom, so it's such a great show. I can't wait. I hope there's a season 4 that comes out.
It's good though. Yeah, I watched that last summer and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, so even though this series has nothing to do with Tokyo, Japan, or Asia, like I think there was one Asian character in the entire 3 seasons, but that I remember seeing, at least East Asian. What I would probably give this an A ranking. A ranking. Yeah.
But I think what's hard about
good.
grading is like, are we ranking based on just pure watchability, or is there gonna be like character development shit? Like I'm not
we can break it down into like A for effort, you know, like overall grade.
Or like A I would waste my time on watching this because I have nothing better to do. Or I would commit part of my existence to this show. I feel like
if you have nothing better to do, then I feel like maybe that's somewhere in the B or C range territory. Okay. It's like,
but like I wouldn't go out of my way to go bum Netflix off someone I know because I need to watch the rest of it right now, type of deal. Okay, yeah, I think that grading would be an A. Like if I'm willing to like bum Netflix off a friend to watch it, that's an A. Okay, so yeah, I think Squid Game is a solid B. Where it's like I'm not ready to be like, what's your Netflix password login? To watch it. So.
So I would give, on that scale, I would definitely give Sex Education solid A. Like highly recommend it, 10 out of 10. Great casting, amazing job, like great acting. Like the only thing that I would not give that brings it down for me is that it's like too good in some ways, where it feels like the actors are so convincing and the writing is done so well that they feel too adult a lot of the times that the kids are giving these performances. They're supposed to be high schoolers, and I'm just like, obviously, me being a teacher, I'm like, I see what the average 16-year-old is like on a daily basis. So I'm like, these are some very adult conversations these kids are having.
But these are also European children.
They are.
They built different.
Yeah, well,
they got credit cards and they travel in the world and shit at like 17. I would know. I ran into a bunch of these young folks.
Yeah, I don't know if we can entirely attribute their maturity level to them being European, but definitely this would be a different story if it was set in America, which is kind of interesting.
But I'm just like comparing because like I think I had a really big culture shock because when I was traveling to Asia the first time, I was like, oh yay, little dumb 25-year-old me, ooh, independent travel, ooh. Then I'm all running into these European kids that are like, oh yeah, I'm here on my like, what's that break they do? And it's like, yeah, my gap year. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna be in this country for, I don't know, maybe half a year or so. And they're like, got their own bank card, they're like booking their own flights. I'm just like, what the fuck? I'm 25 and I'm barely doing this. I don't know. Maybe I ran into some cultured ass European kids on my travels.
No, I mean, like, I think international travel is so much easier for people in Europe to do because, you know, for one, their countries are smaller.
Yeah,
so
well, no, because the thing is, I ran into them in Asia.
Oh, in Asia?
Yeah, so I was like, what are these little European kids up here in islands and stuff? Frolicking about and shit.
Yeah, I would say the ones who have jumped continent are on a, you know, on another level.
Built different.
Than the ones maybe just running around on their own continent.
Yeah, because that's like saying, oh, we going to San Diego for the weekend. That's like what I imagine European kids do when they're like, I'm from Germany, we're going to France. And I'm just like, yeah, we're going to France for the weekend. I'm just like, oh, okay. San Diego for the weekend. Vegas trip.
Yeah.
Spain trip.
Oh, yeah. Spain. I hear Ibiza is basically the Vegas of Spain.
Yeah,
so. Yeah, so anyways. Okay, so I guess that's our report card segment for this week.
Okay. But we should like refine the grading, like, I think when we introduce the segment, refine what the grading levels are. Because now we establish A is we're gonna bum Netflix off someone to watch this show.
Okay, so A ranking.
We bumming Netflix. B ranking is like, I'm gonna set time aside for a weekend to go to my friend's house that actually pays for Netflix to binge watch Netflix at their house.
Go to friend's house to bum Netflix.
C is like, I saw it once and I'm just gonna read the Wikipedia on it because I don't care for how it goes, I just want to know how it ends.
Okay, D ranking.
Why did I waste my time watching this? I could have been taking a nap or something.
Yes, but mildly entertaining and at least you can shit on it. And F ranking is fuck my life. Why was I ever exposed to this trash?
Confirmed. I'm trying to figure out what a F rank Netflix or what a F rank show would be.
Oh God, I feel like we've tried to scrub those from our memories. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like an anime example. Like, God, I don't know. Oh, that's a hard one. What trash have I wasted my time on? There is actually, honestly, there is a F-ranked Japanese live-action TV show on Netflix that I was recommended by someone else. I don't know if they were trolling me, because I feel like they were trolling me. But the series is called My Husband's Penis Won't Fit. Fucking F ranking. I was so disappointed with this show because it starts off in a very surreal sort of premise, right? Like literally it's about this married couple set in Japan, and this Japanese couple. I think they're newlyweds, or it's about their relationship, how they get together, they get married, and then they try to have sex, and her husband's penis won't fit. So it's
like,
sort of like...
It's just like too big or too small?
It's weird because you figure throughout the series, like you find out it's only his because she goes and has sex with other guys. And it's not like his dick is like humongous or anything either. It's like a normal sized dick, but for some reason...
Just all like loosey-goosey and can't like...
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. There's no logical reason. She goes and fucks like a ton of other dudes. And like the most random dudes too. Like I did not get this series. Like I was so confused and I was like, am I missing some sort of like, is there some sort of like cultural deeper meaning that I am not picking up on? Because this series really just did not make any sense to me. It was like, is this supposed to be a comedy? Because it's not funny. And it's like I was just really confused, and it was just had this most unsatisfying ending. I don't think I can't even remember if they actually managed to have sex, and even if they did, it wasn't like satisfying. So like, fucking waste of time. I think if this was an anime, it was animated, and it was a fucking comedy, it's a brilliant premise, but I don't know what the director or the writers were doing because it's neither of those things. So like, fucking F tier. F, complete fail. Do not watch, waste of time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my only F tier series I can think of.
I'll have to watch it or read the wiki about it and see if it's worth it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
I don't have Netflix right now, but I'll wiki it and see if it's worth.
Yeah, like if we ever have any listeners, I'm putting this question out to the listeners. If you enjoyed this series, please explain why, because I really did not get it. So
okay. I like how this grading chart, whatever, this report card segment gives us like opportunities for client or listener interactions. I feel like
listener feedback.
That.
Yeah, at the end of every episode, I do want to have like a Q&A section. Let's see. Here's my Q&A spiel. So finally, we'd like to end with some Q&A. If you have any questions, let's try it one more time. Finally, we'd like to end with some Q&A. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, requests for topics you'd like to hear more about, please reach out to us on our social media at Top Class Tokyo on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, or send us an email at topclasstokyo@gmail.com.
Yeah. Tell me what you think.
Yeah.
What are we allowed to talk about? Because I think I was just gonna bitch about dumb shit I've been trying to do in America, like my dungeon and my dildo mac and cheese and.
It can be about anything. That's also like a thing that I was gonna wanted to talk to you about, because if you're gonna be one of my co-hosts, you know, we really need to think about our audience and what do they want to hear, right? So like, and who are we, and what sort of insight do we bring, right, as hosts? So that's why I was trying to figure out my intro as well. I might be recording this later. Like, so far, it's obviously I feel like it's a weeb podcast for weebs by weebs, right? That's sort of our strength, I think. And also, you don't see a lot of podcasts being hosted by Asian females. I think that's also a special perspective.
Because camgirl money's easier.
Fucking, OnlyFans, right? What are we doing? Why are we taking the hard route?
How dare we make money the more complicated, intellectual way?
What am I doing with all these clothes? God. Why is this a podcast? I'm going about this all wrong. Anyways. So what I had basically written for the intro was like, it's a weekly weeb podcast about life in Japan and the collision of Asian and American culture. So, I think I just wanted to leave it pretty broad, just having it be Asian focused, And since we were both raised for the most part of our lives in America, yet, you know, having Asian identity, I think that's a broad enough area to kind of focus a theme around, you know, a podcast to carry us.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, if anything, if we don't have any broad topic or any topics that we want to start with, we can probably just compile a bunch of, like, oh, here are some questions that we can use as conversation starters and just expand from there type of deal. Instead of having, like, a structured, oh, this is the alphabet, or what alphabet, the grading part, this is the question part. So it can be like, oh, question for this week was insert, like, Asian American reference question pertaining to our lives here versus our lives in other countries versus experiences we had, etc., etc. What do you think, audience? Shit like that.
Yeah, I think that's good. Because I was trying to look at other podcasts and see what our competitors were like. So I feel like there are two sort of, you know, think about a Venn diagram. There are two sort of circles for two separate audiences. I feel like there is a big Asian interest, Asian American audience out there, and then there's also a big weeb audience out there. And I feel like there are podcasts that specialize in both of those things, but nothing that really overlaps the two. Because there's a really great podcast that I love by Dumbfounded. It's Fun with Dumb. It's Asian Korean guy. He's in LA, actually.
Oh, cool.
He's from Koreatown. And so he's a rapper. He makes music. He used to make music, I should say. He doesn't really put out much music anymore, but he's been doing his podcast for a few years in LA, and I love that podcast. It's really music focused since he was a rapper, I guess I should say, and he brings on a lot of musical guests as well as people who bring a lot for like Asian representation. Like he's good friends with Awkwafina.
Oh, cool.
So she's been on his podcast. What was I saying? Yes. So Venn diagram, Asian interests, weeb interests. So yeah. So I think there's a huge Asian interest out there, especially in America, especially in those big major cities like LA, on the coast where I'm from, DC, East Coast, New York, whatever. Even, you know, in the interior of the country too, you know, Asians exist. So like, and I think podcasts are so valuable for that, for people who, you know, live in other places. Obviously, we're doing this remotely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the kind of like global audience I would like to reach, but.
Is this like this is how we do the community building? We're community building, right?
Yeah.
All right.
We're adding our voices out, you know, to the.
Yes, we are the
universe.
community.
Yeah. So, but as far as like weeb podcasts, I haven't found any good weeb podcasts. Or the only other like weeb podcast that I consistently listen to is the one based here in Tokyo that just started last year, 2 years ago maybe. Trash Taste. Have you heard of this?
No, I don't
Trash
podcast
Taste Boys?
because I'm a gremlin. But I will
Damn
now.
Okay. Anyways, to explain Trash Taste to you, it was it's basically these three dudes who have been doing solo YouTube for, I don't even know, probably the last 10 plus years. So like they all have huge followings, million plus followers. And I love these guys. It's Joey, the anime man, C-Dog, Connor, C-Dog VA, and then Garnt, who's Giga QK. Yeah. But the thing that I feel like that is missing from Trash Taste is that there are no females, and
it's a bunch of
there
white
are no
dudes.
Americans.
Oh, okay.
It's 2/3 sort of white dudes, because 2 are British, 1 is Australian.
Okay, so it's like the better English. The better English
Excuse me,
speakers.
better English. I beg to differ. Have some pride. Have some
But
cried.
their accents are so hot.
They are, though. I love Australians.
The better English, clearly.
Anyways,
The exotic English, they're exotic. Are you just listening because their accents?
Their accents are great, but that's one of the things that I feel like is sort of missing from their podcast, and as well as like the greater weeb community at large, is that there aren't that many female voices, and there aren't that many Asian voices, I guess, as far as I can see. Because I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just a small community, but I don't know. It's just, it's like, it's sort of like subculture within subculture within subculture, right? Because it's like weebs, and then within that weeb community.
There's like American weebs, and there's Asian American weebs, and there's female Asian American weeb circle.
Right.
There you go.
So that's
we found
why
our
I'm
niche.
like, there we go. Is this sliver, this tiny sliver of society, like, thank you to our 5 listeners out there who can relate. Thanks for like, comment, subscribe. There you go. Thanks, guys. Sign up to the Patreon.
This is why I volunteer at dungeons now. I needed to fill my void of volunteerism that was abruptly left by the lack of volunteering at anime conventions. Therefore, my life has steered me into running a fucking sex dungeon.
Actually, I think sex could also be a great topic to explore on this podcast as well.
I want to encourage utilizing Planned Parenthood for their valuable resources, because babies are expensive and the world is dying.
Yeah, and I think maybe that might be an interesting, like, compare and contrast, like, I guess, like, public services available in the US versus Japan. Especially, I think that kind of information might be really useful for people wanting to move to Tokyo. Because
they don't got Planned Parenthood there.
They don't, and I mean, I have lived here for 2 years, and I still kind of don't know what's out there in terms of services or where to go if something happens, or like, you know, like, can you get that kind of stuff here? Like, you would really have to do some research. So I feel like just the more avenues of information people have, the better, right? So, especially after having watched an entire 3 series of sex education over this weekend, I feel like sex education is like one of those areas that we just can't have too much of. So, yeah, especially with the cultural differences between the West and the East.
Ooh, so many topics.
Yeah, I know, so many topics. Yesterday, I was supposed to go to a womb cafe with my friend, and I thought I would be into it. I guess I kind of chickened out at the last second.
Like womb, like the baby maker bag, the baby thing, like that womb.
Yes.
Oh, so what?
Yes,
they put you in a sack or what?
I really didn't know what sort of concept they were going for, but essentially, I saw the flyer for it. He sent me the flyer, and it's basically it's so sketch.
They put you in an embryonic sack and you have tea.
I wish it was that. I wish there was tea involved, but no. I think it has to do with succubi, and basically it's kind of like a Hooters, except the girls have tribal tattoos on their stomachs in their uterus area, and it's like supposed to be a spell or like anti-pregnancy charm, and all the girls are succubi, and it's like you can come inside them, but the spell prevents pregnancy.
So this is some weird like role play sex cafe thing.
I guess
so
it's
wait,
like
you get
LARPing.
the fuck or what?
I don't think so. but maybe because it's probably in some kind of red light district. I don't know. That's why I was like,
but you don't get the
at
fuck
first,
them?
I wouldn't want to, but I see, that's the thing. I was really intrigued when he invited me to go on this thing. This was like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, wait. He kept telling me like more and more details about it because I was like,
do you get to bring a strap on or what?
Yeah, like that sounded cool. Like, oh, these girls with like tribal tattoos and bikinis, just
So it's just a Vietnamese titty bar, but they're Japanese and have temporary tattoos.
I was like, the more I thought about it, the less comfortable I was with going, and I was just like, I don't know if this is sex work, and I was like, this is like, I can, you just
had to ask Brian, do you get the fuck? And if it's yes, it's like, all right, on my way. But if it's like you just get blue balls, and it's like, on my way, because I won't suffer either way. Apparently blue balls isn't a thing. The balls don't actually turn blue. I had a conversation about this at my dungeon when we were having the school theme. Because we were like,
you thought they turned blue?
I thought that was the reason why they called them blue balls, or I thought that was just a way for men to trick women into putting out.
It's a little column A, little column B.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think they actually turn blue, but it's sort of like the idea that they're hurting so much that they turn blue.
I just had like a visual mental image of like when you get blue balls, you like your body is physically cutting circulation from your balls, and I was like, is that why they change color?
I thought the idea was more like it's black and blue, like a bruise, like it hurts like a bruise, like it's sort of that idea.
I'm pretty
but I don't
sure
really
there's
know.
like a kink where you just like cut circulation off your testicles, and like people are into that or something.
Yeah, I've heard of that too.
Yeah.
I think that was in like Fight Club too.
Oh really?
There's a scene. Yeah, there's a scene in Fight Club where one of the guys gets like pinned down by the gang, and they're like threatening him, and then they like wrap like a rubber band around his testicles, and they're like they're like threatening to like cut his balls off, and he can't feel his balls anymore, so he doesn't know if they actually cut his balls off.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a kink for that.
Yeah.
So you didn't go to the womb?
Fight Club A tier.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Anyways.
We need to what? You didn't get to go to the womb cafe?
No, I chickened out. I totally flaked on him, and I was just like, I don't feel comfortable going to
just a darkly lit room with a bunch of horny men.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, maybe if it was like, I've been to maid cafes, which I'm okay with.
It's a sex maid cafe.
Yeah.
Sex cafe.
Hey. Yeah. In America, I feel like things would be more regulated over there. You know, you can't really run. It was from like literally, it was a pop-up event, so it was, you know, yesterday. It was on a Sunday from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Sick.
This is during the day.
All right.
Because with the Tokyo state of emergency, you can't really run
things at night.
Any sort of like after 8 p.m. everything basically shuts down. So
what they do just
it's an afternoon event. So
you can get horny in the afternoon. I'm sure horniness can't tell time.
I'm sure it was a great success. I'm sure many people showed up for the Womb Cafe. So
wait, how did your buddy hear about this Womb Cafe?
He hears about these, like, I guess he's really plugged into the fetish community here.
A kink connect? Hell yeah, all right.
I guess, I don't know. He's been to these sort of events before. He definitely goes to, there's a few S&M clubs he goes to that I hear him talking to me about.
Did you tell him about your first baby's first dungeon visit?
Maybe, I can't recall.
Okay.
I don't think I did.
Because I'm kind of curious to see how dungeons are in Japan. Because I had a friend that went to one in Osaka, but it was when I wasn't very wasn't participating much within the community, so I didn't care much for dungeons. But it's like, well, seeing how there's a dungeon here I have full access to, I should probably learn more about the culture.
I would feel like I wouldn't get as much out of it with having the language barrier there, which I feel like you know, just not being able to speak Japanese, I don't know that I would get the, you know, the full experience. So, and even now, even if I could speak Japanese, I still wouldn't be getting the full experience with all of the COVID restrictions in place.
Yeah.
Because a lot has been scaled back in terms of like just access to these facilities, because you can't have a certain number of people in venues.
Yeah.
So like I know that one of the larger clubs that he would go to used to have like multi-level. There's like a stage on the first floor, and there's like a balcony up on the second floor.
So like a club type of deal with different rooms.
Yeah, it's like a real club.
Okay.
With like different music in different areas and just different things happening. But like now that COVID is in place, they've like shut down the second floor, and like even since there's no stage performances happening, I think there used to be like drag events that would go on. I think there was even like costume wrestling at one point,
No fun
which
allowed.
looked really cool. I know. So now I'm like, oh man, I feel like I missed out. I like if I would go now, it just wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
So.
Man, that sounds fun. I want to go.
Yeah. Maybe that's something you guys can do at a
rental.
LA dungeon.
Yeah. But yeah, it was funny though, because when we rented dungeon, my friend, she forgot to bring her Vax card, but conveniently had a rapid test in his car, and we're like, yo, we could totally upsell this shit at events if it's like, oh, you forgot your thing, buy this rapid test for $30 at the door, man, that'll be great. So there's like a little niche market to make money off of unprepared people.
Yeah, for real. Like I brought back a couple like rapid COVID tests, because you can't buy that here in Japan.
Yeah.
Like
it was cool though, because I did one, and it reminds me of like a pregnancy test, but instead of like swishing it
for your nose.
Instead of peeing on it, it's kind of like pink means pregnant, blue means not pregnant. So that was very fun. It was like a little science project. Very intrigued by it.
Yeah. So I don't know when those things are gonna come to Japan. I feel like that would really help a lot of people out here. I've heard one rumor that my friend who lives in Chiba saw a Japanese version in a vending machine somewhere, but it's like
okay, sure.
But that's one vending machine in the outskirts of Tokyo.
Yeah.
I don't know how reliable that would be.
It just reminds me of like those gag gifts you get from freaking Daiso that are like, oh yeah, this is like some gag, I don't know, it just makes it sound like it's not real. Or like it's fake.
Yeah. Just imagine if they had those over-the-counter tests available at Daiso here. I feel like that would change things a lot for the controlling the pandemic here.
Yeah.
So, alas.
But I feel like they should
Japan
try
gets on the ball
to. Yeah,
soon.
they should try to do that, because like if anything, I feel like it would be beneficial if they had that as accessible as condoms, because it's kind of like give or take the same shit. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Also, I've been really tempted to buy Japanese condoms here just to see what the differences are.
Aren't they supposed to be like stupid thin or something like that?
I don't know. I've seen them. I was like really curious about it at the pharmacy, and I was like, because I was looking, I was like, I wonder if they actually carry any American brands here, but no, they don't carry American brands. No Trojan, no Durex, no nothing. They definitely have their own Japanese brands here, and I don't know. It looks interesting. I kind of want to just do a compare and
I wonder if they come in sizes.
They do. I think they do, and they're measured in millimeters. And I think what they do is they measure diameter.
Okay, so it's a girth thing.
I think I think that they have a different I didn't buy any, but I think I did take a picture, so maybe next time, maybe for YouTube.
Archery tag. We were initially wanted to do it for Halloween, where everyone has to dress up as like archers, from any series, but Halloween is kind of busy, so if we move it to November, we want to make it where you either dress up as an Indian, a pilgrim, or a turkey. And then you can only shoot pilgrim can only shoot Indian can only shoot turkey, turkey can only give pilgrim bird flu. So it's like a rock, paper. So this is the dumb shit that I've been planning to entertain my boring life of America. But I think these are just this is the what's hot in my life right now.
Wait, so archery tag, how would you would be actually shooting people with arrows?
Well, they're puffy, the ends are soft, so they're not hard. So you can shoot
Are those
people.
Those are the LARPing ones with the bean bags at the end?
Yeah, I imagine so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never done it before, but it sounds fun.
I know Mikey has I've seen him do that. I saw one of his stories where he was shooting a target and it had the bean bag on the end of the arrow. So it was super weighted, but
I want to
it
shoot
looked like
people.
it would be
so
fun.
you aim high.
You've got to arc it.
Yeah. All right, I'm down.
That seems really difficult if people are running around like a turkey outfit.
Well, it's gonna be super simple. It's the turkey is you get a little beak hat or something, then the pilgrim gets a little pilgrim hat, and then the Indian gets a little feather hat or something. So culturally,
you gotta be a really good archer to hit some of these.
We're so culturally appropriate because America.
That sounds cool. Yeah, Thanksgiving. That sounds great.
But then
I wish we could do that here.
The other day we were brainstorming because we had a takoyaki day. Mark and me and Justine and my other friend Joe, and pretty much we're trying to brainstorm. Okay, what food cart do we want to have? Because this sounds like a fun. I'll do this once a month just so I can socialize, but also make money type of deal. So I want to post up in front of a club and just sell yakitori or something.
That sounds amazing. Yeah. Or even takoyaki on a stick. Yeah, that sounds good.
But I feel takoyaki takes too much time to make though, because we were making it over, we were discussing it over making takoyaki, and it was man, takoyaki is such a diverse street food, but at the same time, it's a lot of work to create the balls. So I was grilled meat is probably as easy as it gets, and then to diversify it from traditional takoyaki, at the end of the takoyaki stick, I'm just gonna put a baked mini potato because that gives you the starches, so that way you can sober up.
Bro, have you seen the takoyaki makers out here in Tokyo though?
Yo, they
are fast.
Yeah, but it's
they are fast.
I haven't had years of experience and generations of teachers to teach me this.
But it cooks really fast because you literally it's basically like making waffles, right? You pour the mix onto the hot iron and then it instantly sets as soon as it touches the iron. Then you use your chopsticks and you basically flip it into a ball.
But maybe our grill wasn't hot enough because it was one of those the kitchen
Sounds
whatever those novelty. Yes, my friend got it as a gift, but I was I imagine the direct heat grills are a lot more even. But I was how much should those
Well, yeah,
cost?
if you're gonna be in a food truck, you
I just
gotta
wanted
have
a cart.
industrial.
Yeah.
Oh, one of those
the corn man, the elote man type of deal.
Okay.
Because I want to do this in LA and just post up in front of arena or some shit on one day and be all right, we're selling takoyaki or we're selling yakitori. It's either chicken and onions with a potato on it or it's all chicken with a potato on it.
Okay, maybe gyoza then or something like that.
Yeah, but then I'm thinking, do I just have to make all the gyoza? Because I feel the least amount of prep work is just put the meat on sticks, grill it, or freeze everything you prepped before, and you just grill it and go type of deal. Because I feel with gyoza, you have to that's a lot of crimping, man. It's I could buy it in bulk, but then it's you don't really get to be oh, this is what I made that's exclusive. If anything, the sauces that I put on the takoyaki, on the yakitori would be more, oh, this sauce slaps. But then again, we're selling to drunk people, so I don't really think it needs to be that culinarily refined. But those are just the random
food
projects.
cart ideas.
Those are the random projects that I've been entertaining myself with over the past several months.
Yeah, if we're going with ideas for food businesses, I feel like a great niche market for Tokyo is non-Asian, or actually
Burritos.
Asian but non-Japanese Asian food, because it's like
Banseo.
I feel like Korean is strange here, because I feel like there are enough Korean people. Yeah, where I don't think real Korean food is actually that popular here.
So,
and that's kind of weird to me. Yeah, so I don't think Japanese people actually like real Korean food, which sucks because I love Korean food.
And that whole historical
like
beef of the whole, you tried the runner country.
Yeah, so I feel like going the other direction. So if we do Filipino,
Hell yeah,
I think
do
Filipino.
some lumpia. Lumpia would like sell so well.
Yeah, and there are no Filipino. There's one Filipino restaurant here in my neighborhood that I can think of, and it's a buffet. So I don't know if they don't even do dessert, which is a tragedy, because I feel like one of the best things about Filipino food is the dessert and like all the sweets. And I feel like if there was a fucking Filipino bakery that was like Goldilocks level downtown, like that place would sell so amazingly. Like, yeah, I don't know why it hasn't been done, because there are a ton of Filipinos here. So I don't know what they do. I really don't know what they do.
Maybe it's hard to get like a rent a property or something. Because I'm not sure.
I feel like it's a lack of capital as well.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think.
Because like
I feel like the
Filipinos
Filipinos
are poor,
that
man.
are here. Yeah, the Filipinos that are here are, much like the other Filipinos who are abroad, who are not in America, or even in America, that they are in service industry and they don't have that capital to start their own ventures. So yeah, come through if you're Filipino wanting to start a food business. Get us some lumpias and some Goldilocks bakery items.
Just email Goldilocks. Please open a branch in the Philippines. Let me franchise here.
Or in Tokyo.
Please fund. Thank you.
Yeah, I think there has been some. I think there might have been at like one point in time, like a Goldilocks distributor here in Japan, but I think it got shut down, especially with the pandemic. I think there might have been some places that carried
like an international store or something.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that stuff is shut down, and Goldilocks like pulled back on a lot of their operations. I kind of looked into it because I was really craving Filipino desserts. So I was like, fuck, where can I get some Goldilocks?
You gotta make it yourself.
Yeah, really.
You just sell it out of your apartment. That's what you're supposed to do.
Japanese dessert is in some ways really similar to Filipino dessert, because it's a lot of rice-based stuff, like chewy, mochi kind of textures and flavors like that. Like kuchinta is really similar to, like anpan, where it's like gooey and sweet, and like those flavors would even mix so well. Like you could even do some sort of like fusion dessert stuff. So I feel like, damn, I'm like, these ideas are just coming to me now.
Make it to a cart, man. Start with the cart, build up to the actual building.
If podcasting in Tokyo doesn't work out for me, I'll be starting my own Filipino-Japanese dessert bar in LA.
There you go.
After I come back. So, yeah.
Come back to America, please.
I know. I feel like that's part of the reason why I was binge watching Sex Education. Because it's so weird, because all I would watch in America is anime, and then after moving to Japan, all I watch is like American stand-up, or like British romance or something.
Is this how you cope with the lack of America in your life right now?
Yeah, and just lack of diversity in general. Like,
you get excited when you see a non-Japanese person when you go outside.
Actually, I don't even remember the last time that happened, so it's kind of hard to even.
The gaijins are far and few these days.
Yeah, they really are, and I blend in, so it's not like they
look
see
for
me
you
either. Yeah, because I'm just another face in the crowd.
I had that struggle too, but then you could tell because the way I would dress is very non-Japanese. bare shoulders and
Yeah,
everything in the
actually-
middle of summer.
Yeah. I went to a Vietnamese restaurant last weekend, and they just looked me up and down, and then they handed me the English menu.
Hell yeah. You're like, sumimasen, English, please. And they're like,
I didn't even ask for it. I didn't say a thing, and he just saw me and was like, "Here you go." So I was like ashamed, but also thankful.
But I think that's one thing I did pick up when I was living there. I was like, man, I sure do dress American. So unconservative. Why do I walk outside in daylight with just leggings on?
Yeah, it's such a weird fashion here that I am still trying to figure out.
It's like
figure it
hella
out.
stupid layers for days for no reason in the middle of fucking summer, and I was just like, I don't know about you, but I'm sweating balls, so I'ma not wear clothes.
Yes, it's very conservative and very feminine, but I don't know, it's kind of weird because I feel like it's also very generational too, because I see a lot of older women wearing very
A lot of
baggy clothing that kind of hides your body shape. It looks really good on like 90-pound Japanese women, but like I feel like if anyone has any curves and it just starts to look like you're homeless.
Literally me.
Yeah.
I too
so
am
if
the
you have any-
homeless in Japan.
I don't know. I'm like, is this not oversized enough? Do I need to go another size up? Like, what's going on here? I don't know. But yeah, and I don't know. It's so weird. I haven't got a really
No backless
good
shirts,
feel for it.
No shoulder exposure, no
Yeah.
V-necks.
That's another thing also. Maybe, okay, so back to our Venn diagram. We have Asians in one circle, we have weebs in another circle, and then maybe within the Asian circle, so this is a very strange Venn diagram, a smaller circle inside the Asian circle. ABGs. Where is the ABG podcast? Like,
They don't need to make
I don't know.
podcasts, man. They just gotta be e-girls.
E-girls are, I feel like
that another
there's the
Venn?
overlap. Yeah, that's another circle too, because I feel like e-girl, when I think e-girl, I think of like a very pale goth white girl, and I'm like e-girl, but I feel like that's where it sort of came from, where like this very, like the emo girl, you know, was like very My Chemical Romance and like sort of like early 2000s sort of grew up from this Avril Lavigne sort of like
I thought the e-girl was
punk scene. But like e-girl was like the next evolution of that. But it's really diversified now because like, you know, anybody can do anything, of course. But
yeah. Like for me, my impression of e-girl, I always thought it was like you know how there was always like, oh, you're not a real gamer, blah, 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 all this pushback. But then like the generic looking e-girl would be like this tomboyish looking girl with glasses that are like metal frames and rounded. They're not very like fashionable looking, but then when they dress up real nice, they get all hot and shit, and that's why they started podcasts, because it's like, oh, I can shit on you and still look hot, but get good scrub type of deal about them.
that's interesting you say tomboyish, because I thought when I think of e-girl, I think of very
Like very bro girls.
feminine.
Oh, really?
Really, no. I think of like a very feminine girl who is just, because I think the makeup is what really stands apart. Like, because I think that's what really completes the look of an e-girl, is other than the fashion, is the makeup.
Yeah, I think within the e-girl realm itself, it also branches out, because then you get the soft e-girls, then you get the bro e-girls, then you get the fake gamer girl e-girls that are also borderline
What is
just
a
cam girls.
bro e-girl?
Like-
Because that sounds like an oxymoron to me.
Like bro e-girl is like, they wear baggy clothes, they say dude a lot, they play a lot of Call of Duty, they play a lot of Fortnite.
That just sounds like a gamer girl. How's that an e-girl?
Isn't that the same thing? I thought e-girls I
No.
thought e-girl and gamer girl's the same.
No, I feel like those are very two different
Oh,
girls.
okay, what's e-girl then?
Because I feel like,
Because I
don't know.
thought those are synonymous.
Is that where it? Maybe
Because I know gamer
I
girl
don't know,
came
maybe.
before e-girl. Because I think
Definitely,
e-girl
yeah.
is just like the super cutesy girl that play Animal Crossing and play a lot of like League of Legends. Have a lot of like conveniently cosplay sometimes. They always have cute desk setups. They always get sponsorships for like mechanical keyboard caps, and they always push all these, oh, this is how you order things off Amazon Japan. Have your aesthetically cute and shit. So that's what my impression of e-girl is.
Yeah, I thought it was very aesthetic. Like, I thought that was like that's why I was like, they don't necessarily have to game, but you know, they could be an e-girl that games.
Okay, so maybe that's the differentiation is, because I guess e-girl and gamer girl are different, because e-girl, I guess esports, so specifically like Dota, League, esports realm, and then gamer girl is like Call of Duty, like competitive games, stuff like that.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I guess so.
So I guess the realm of gamer girl can expand into like competitive like first-person shooter games, and the other one is like MOBA games or shit like that. And then it's like it gravitates where the more first-person shooter games are more bro, and then the soft girls are more like esports games like Dota and whatever was that, League of Legends. You gotta do a whole diagram of the realms of nerds.
We need to draw this out. We need some whiteboards up in here. So, like,
I'm gonna be that meme where it's the guy that's doing math and he's like, let's do that.
We need to actually, we need some, where is my whiteboard? I actually have a whiteboard so we can like.
Excellent, because I feel like for the first...
This will be fun to animate.
Yeah, the first episodes or so should just be, let's set the basis of these are what we think these are, because then I feel like there would be a lot of misinterpretations of our conversations because we don't think the same things mean the same things.
Yeah. Listeners, please weigh in. What is an e-girl?
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's a good way to really get community involvement and to set up how the podcast works, because it's kind of like, this is what we want to talk about, but we also want to make sure we're on the same page type of deal.
Yeah, I think that's like, you know, and it's interesting to hear this coming from you, who we would be like, quote unquote, in the same demographic yet. Like even like as something as simple as like, what is an e-girl? We have different definitions of what that is. It means something different for both of us. So yeah, maybe it's whatever you want it to be, but what do you think, listeners? Call us.
We're going to have so many good questions in our podcast box. Or listener questions.
Yay! Community building. I think that's kind of the cool thing, too, about starting your own podcast, because it's like, maybe there isn't an audience that has been clearly defined yet, because it's like we've got so many of these different circles in our Venn diagram, you know, that it's like we're like defining this new audience that exactly hits that target bullseye. God, I'm fucking terrible at explaining this, but like,
where's
you know
the
what I'm saying?
diagram? Damn it.
The fucking overlap of all of these Venn diagram circles is like, you know, who we want our audience to be. Maybe this is you. Maybe you find these are the things that I find interesting. This is the intersection of these different worlds where I find myself in, where all my interests are. And the fact that I'm doing this with another person tells me that I'm not alone, you know, that I'm probably not the only person out there that finds all of these things interesting. So,
external
so
validation.
hopefully, so hopefully we can expand, find an audience for this type of content. So excited for that. Stay classy, Tokyo, or wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe for our next episode, dropping next Thursday. Top Class Tokyo. I don't know. One other, I don't know if I was having this conversation with you. I might have been having this other conversation with my friend who was originally supposed to record the first podcast episode with me. But I was telling her one of the other main inspirations for this podcast was, other than Trash Taste, of course, is Call Her Daddy. Have you heard of this one?
No, I haven't.
So I feel like you would love this podcast. It's a sex podcast, sex advice. There's been some drama recently, and this is pretty new. Yeah, and it's actually started around the same time as Trash Taste, like 2 years ago. So it started 2019 pre-pandemic, and this girl, Alex Cooper from Boston, she and her roommate, Sophia, started this podcast in their bedroom. It's basically like a sex and dating podcast, and I feel like a lot of their success was due to the fact that Alex had a lot of really high up sort of connections in the sports world, because she would date a lot of professional athletes. So I feel like that was kind of like how she gained a big platform in the first place. And she would just spill all the secrets about her dating and sex life, like dating all these like pro baseball players, pro hockey players, and all this like nasty sex shit, how to give a blowjob, like all her
laying it out, pro tips.
Yeah, dirty laundry. Yeah, really, for real, pro tips. And she gained such a huge following. It went so like she went to like 2 million followers in like 2 months, and that was insane. I know.
Well,
so
like
I'm
tea.
like
I like tea.
Yes, they like tea, and they like TNA and sex, and like they post. They're very active on social media, and you know they're two beautiful girls, and you know they were also their podcast got discovered by Barstool Sports, which was another larger podcast which you know was specializing in the sports sort of world. So it kind of was like a brand new female perspective on a predominantly male oriented you know field, right? Yeah. So it was like they have such a interesting audience, you know, in the listenership, I think, because it's like women are listening, like, you know, cishet, straight, probably mostly white females are listening because they want to. This
is how you date a pro athlete.
They basically want, they're like, they basically want to be Alex Cooper, right? And they're like, how do I get that professional athlete? And
how to give a athlete quality blowjob.
Right, and you know, it's being promoted through Barstool Sports, but now they're independent. So I don't know. She's reached such an interesting audience, and she signed a $60 million deal on Spotify exclusively, like just this past summer. Oh, wow. So yeah, so it's so cool to see like. You know, just something that she thought of on her own, just grow into like what is like her daddy gang now, which is like her community of like really sex positive women and men and whoever just wants to listen to their podcast and just like embracing sexuality and all this other stuff. So it's just interesting to see that and just see
the
how popular.
Podcast.
Yeah, and how popular it is. So, like, I don't know. So that, I kind of want that energy, but for weebs.
Nerd sex, it's okay.
Right.
Get tested regularly, every 3 months, baby.
With how mainstream, like, nerd culture is now, it's not even nerd culture anymore. Like,
it's
Marvel
popular culture
is
now.
So, it's pop culture, it's so mainstream, it's everyone. If you're not familiar with like superheroes and comics, it's almost like
who are you?
You're the odd one out, right? Now it's like,
especially because there's so many cars with all these fucking weeb decals on it. I'm just like, man, weebs these days have no shame.
They don't. I feel like that's also part of how culture has changed in general from like over the last 10 years, where it's like shame and being closeted is like a thing of the past now. It's almost like, or at least in liberal cities in America, I feel like, where people have, where public spaces can be safe places for, you know, for people who have been marginalized.
It's not just the graphic novel section in Barnes and Noble, baby. Hot topic.
Yeah, so it's really interesting to see here. I forgot where I was going with this, but anyways, yeah. Anyways, call her daddy plus trash taste. That's what I want Top Class Tokyo to be. Not necessarily that it's even about sex, but just having this like female empowering platform where we can be nerds, but also just be normal people and talk about the things we like. So that's
yes,
what I want Top
vocalizing
Class
all.
Tokyo to be.
Have a rant about that.
Webcomics might be a good topic for our next episode because I feel like those nerd podcasts make the focus again too narrow,
Yeah.
where it's like they talk about like a single thing, or like they talk about I don't know, something so specific, but that it doesn't really, I don't know. Maybe this is like maybe some people see it as a strength rather than a weakness, because I feel like it's too restricting, but other people might think it's
Up their alley.
like, yeah, like organized.
Yeah.
But so I mean, like, to each their own. So if you like disorganized rambling podcasts, thank you for subscribing.
That's us.
Yeah.